You guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to be talking about creating a follow-up plan. So, again and again and again in real estate, you hear create your database, create your database, create your database. Have you put together your database? Where's your database? How big is your database? Who have you put on your database? And that's great. That is the foundational piece that we have to have in order to create a referral business. So I know a lot of real estate agents working a sphere of influence, or working a business based on relationships. It it works well for a lot of realtors' personality, and it's a great way to, I don't know, I feel like it's enriching for me. Like when I can do business with people I know and care about and love, like it's better than ever. Well, hopefully, I know some of our friends and family members maybe we don't want to do business with, but we have to start somewhere. So everyone is going to have a different size of sphere depending on what your past looks like, right? Like what kind of jobs have you had? Where have you lived? Maybe you're new to the area, like Laura's new to Boise. So the people that she knows in Boise, that's going to be kind of a smaller sphere. Some people have lived here since, they were born and raised here. And so they're going to be able to build a bigger local sphere. But even if you start with 10 names, that is where it starts. And then it continues to grow and grow and grow. So something that, I can't remember who told me, another agent that I was talking to this week had said every interaction is selling real estate. So you are always selling real estate no matter what you do. Because every time you run into someone, I believe it was actually Elizabeth Hume. So she says, she goes to the grocery store, and of course, she's not going to shop online because she wants to be at the store, because she wants to see people. She wants to run into people and say, oh, hey, how's it going? And for them to say, oh my gosh, it's great. Like, can you believe the market? They know she's a realtor. They have questions, right? And so creating those types of engagements continues to strengthen that sphere. But it starts with one name, on that list. So let's talk a little bit. I'm just going to start. This is in the toolbox on the 100-day action plan, day 1 of week 1, CRM. And this goes in stages. So I might actually I feel like, especially when you're a newer agent or you're newer to working your sphere of influence, do I need to move this so you can see better? So everyone says, oh, have you started your CRM yet? And you're like, my what? What are you even talking about? So 3 steps. The first, create your list. It doesn't matter if you've chosen your CRM or not. If you don't have a list of people, it's not going to do anything for you. So first you're going to create your list. Second, and this is something that we're going to focus on for most of this workshop today, is creating your follow-up plan. Because where CRM programs have a lot of capabilities to do a lot of work for you. So for example, all 3 of you came into our new agent training program that are here in the classroom today. And you received a series of like 16 emails from Amy that like outlines your training program. Yeah, like we don't send those to you. We hit go on that, right? Like those emails are, Amy and I made them. We put them in order. Angel scheduled them. When you guys came on board, she hit go. And that is the power of CRM, that things are happening on your behalf that you don't actually have to manually be doing. But I couldn't just go in to the program and be like, do a thing. No, I had to have a plan. I had to know what I wanted to be in each of those emails. I had to know what we wanted interactions to look like. And it doesn't have to just be emails. That's just an example. But it could be a number of things. We're going to go through some different ideas. But is it making a call, sending a text, wishing someone happy birthday? Is it dropping something off at their house? Is it sending an email, interacting with them on social media? Like there's a lot of different ways you can interact, and I'm going to give you a handout that's going to outline this. But this is the piece that a lot of people get stuck on, or they skip, right? Like they don't give a lot of intentional thought to this. The goal is that once you have your list, you can automate so that it is on autopilot. So, and you know, you might have to do some things like, you know, a program might remind you to send a text. It may or may not send the text for you, but at least you're not like, oh yeah, John, when did I talk to John last? I don't even know. Get out your phone, you're looking through, you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 8 months. Shoot, right? Could you have missed an opportunity in those 8 months? Well, for sure, right? Because you're not front of mind. So create a plan, and then 3 is automate your plan. So we're going to focus here today on these 2 items. There's a lot of options here of how to automate. And you know, you have access to Boomtown and KV Core. There are 7,000 other programs available that can help you automate. But it doesn't matter if you automate something if you don't have it all figured out first.
Right.
So that's what we want to focus on. Okay. So when you're in the 100-day action plan, it'll talk to you about your CRM, which is a system to manage your customer database, basically, or your client database, your sphere of influence. Those are people that you, that trust you because they know you. And then it's so funny because I feel like in real estate especially, you hear sphere of influence like on repeat, like so much, and in other industries, maybe not as much, but it really is your lifeline because real estate is a relationship business. Now there are some agents who are like, yeah, no, I don't want to mess with my sphere. They'll come to me if they want. Get me on the phone. I want to do cold calls. I want to door knock. I want to, you know, what does this look like? But I would say the majority of agents are more comfortable building relationships and building business from relationships. So, okay, I'm going to pass
Nature of the beast.
Yep. Okay, actually, I'm going to wait to hand this out. Okay, so how do you create your list? So on the 100-day action plan, there is an Excel spreadsheet that you can download. And this is a great resource because it's already set up. What's also good about this is that it's formatted in such a way that you will be able to import it easily into a program. So there's nothing more frustrating than building a list of 300 people, and then you want to upload that into your system.
And you can.
And it's like, ooh, yeah, the city and the state of their address needs to be in 2 different fields. And then you're like, oh, I have to do it again. Or, ooh, first and last name can't be in the same box. So this is formatted in such a way that you should not have any problems uploading this to any system that you decide to use. So, so that's available. And then I want to look at this. So it does go through in the action plan just a small list of ideas of who you could potentially, you know, put on a list. But I really like this memory jogger. It's intense. I like it so much.
It's big.
Yeah. So you think you don't know anybody until you open the memory jogger. And then you're like, oh, okay. So in the beginning, it'll talk about, you know, how to create your list and things like that. And then it comes to this. Okay, who do you put on your list? And literally, you can just go through this. Your family, whoever is in your address book currently, or in your email. Like if you go to your contacts in your email, put all those people on your list. Go through your cell phone, put all those people on your list. Who do you send holiday cards to? What about, did you recently get married? Who did you invite to your wedding? Did your child recently have a birthday party? Who did you invite to that party? Whose business cards do you have? Who are your friends on social media? Go through your Facebook friends list. Who follows you on Instagram, or who do you follow? And so this takes you through. So here's what we want to do right now. I just want you to jot a quick list of 25 people you can put on your list. Just, I don't need names or phone numbers or addresses or anything, but let's see if we can get 25 people written down. Looking at this as a resource. They don't have to live in Idaho, anywhere. Feel free to pull out your phone if you need to. Look at some ideas. And don't hold yourself back from putting people on there that you're like, ooh, I don't know if I should include them. I haven't talked to them for a long time. I don't even know what I would say if I called them. Put them on your list anyway, because our next step is going to help us kind of determine some of those, factors about individual contacts. How's it going?
More names in the front.
Good, I like that.
I don't have most of these people's email, but
That's okay. You're starting with the name. And you don't have to have an email to get in touch,
That's right.
which is also good. Okay, let's pause wherever you are. This project that you're working on that you just started is far from done. In fact, this is a project that will never be done because you want to continually be adding people to your database. Like if you can make that your mission every day, like I'm adding 3 people to my database today. And like, feet to pavement, how are you doing that? Right? What steps can you take in order to meet people, to have conversations, to provide value to somebody? So, okay, now I want you to look at your list and, oh, by the way, that was only the first page.
There's like 7 or 8 pages, isn't there?
Yeah, it just keeps going. So, and then I think this part is really, really key. Who do you know from a different state? Particularly in Idaho right now, this is where everybody wants to move. So don't feel like you need to just be in contact with people who are local, because people are moving here, people are buying investment property here, vacation property, all kinds of things. And so keeping those doors open with your out-of-state contacts are really, really key. So yeah, and then who do you know who lives in another country? And then they've got a little list that you can use. So anyway, ongoing project. So we're not going to finish creating your whole list today. That's homework for you to work on. The next thing that we want to look at though is every contact is different because you have a different relationship with every person on this list. There are some people who are going to be your raving fans. There are some people you haven't talked to in 10 years. Mm-hmm. And all of those belong, and everything in between. All of those people belong on your database list. Every one of them. Because even though you might right now feel like, I mean, what do I say? Like, oh, hey, it's me. Haven't talked to you in 10 years. Do you want to buy a house? No, we're not going to say that, right? But there are ways to rekindle those relationships and to open those doors. So the next thing you're going to do, and there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. This is just one example. You're going to categorize your contacts, okay? So one way that's recommended is A+, A, B, and C, okay? People, and you could probably put a D on here as well, people who won't refer you. I don't like to focus on those. A+, people who have already sent you referrals. A, people who are likely to refer you. B, people who probably would refer you if you asked them, if they knew that you were in the business. And then, down the list, C, people who might refer you in the future, might not. So if you can go through your list and then start putting a letter by them, or maybe you want to rank them differently. Maybe you have an out-of-state list and an in-state list. And maybe for you, your out-of-state list, you're going to do the same types of follow-ups with all of these people. Or maybe you're going to categorize this list and this list, like out-of-state, in-state, and create different plans based on that. So you can really make this your own. The key is to look through those contacts and say, we're going to rank them in order of relationship or how likely they are to refer us. And you can do that, if you go back to the spreadsheet, category right here. So so if you just did I haven't let myself edit this. A, B, C. You might have people categorized or alphabetically by first name, but this AZ sort and filter right here, if you haven't used Excel much, you can order people by different things. So the ABC works well. Custom sort, UTC, sort on cell phone, same category. So I'm going to sort by category, whatever's in the cell A to Z. Well, it's already like that, but if they were all mixed up, then you could come in and sort so you could see all of your A's together, all of your B's together, all of your C's together, so that you can then, determine what your action plan would be for each category. So that is the next step, categorize. Okay, so look at your list that you just wrote down and start putting a couple letters by some of the names. You don't have to do them all right now, but just kind of work through a few of those and see what that feels like as you're sorting them. Okay, the next step, once you've categorized, we need to come up with a plan. The easiest way to do that is is to make a plan based on the category. So what you're going to do for people in your A category, the people who are already sending you referrals, is probably going to be different than the people that you're going to follow up with in your C category, right? And I apologize, it looks like when I printed, my margins got messed up a little, so, and yeah, it printed kind of funny, but bear with me through it. So we want to talk about what does a plan look like. So off the top of your head, you can check if you need to, what are some things that you could do to follow up with someone? I'll write some ideas. What are ways to follow up?
Email, Facebook, call. Send a note.
Text? Great.
Oh, text, yeah.
What? Sorry, did I miss something? What else?
Lunch.
Lunch. Who doesn't love lunch?
Well, that opens up a whole new category. Drinks, coffee.
Yeah. Okay, so look at this little handout I gave you at the bottom. So I got a lot of these. Call, text, send a card in the mail, connect on social media, interact with their social media posts. So you might be friends on Facebook, you might be posting on Facebook, but if you're not like commenting on their stuff, they may or may not be seeing your name. Email newsletter, send them a birthday card or a birthday text, something. Mention them in a social media post, like, "Hey, I thought you'd like this." Share something on their Facebook wall, do a survey or a poll, post a giveaway, stop by their house with a newsletter or a gift or a market analysis or something like that. Deliver something for them at Christmas or other holidays on the back. Meet for lunch. Comment on their blog, send them postcards, offer to recommend their business, ask for feedback on your service. I also added write a review for their business. Yeah, I mean, anytime, like, particularly if this person does own their own business or does something on the side, if you're on social media, they're like, oh, I'm looking for someone who does hair and makeup, and you're like, oh my gosh, my friend Kayla does that, and you tag your friend Kayla, like, that's gonna make your connection with her stronger. She's gonna see it because you tagged her in it, and she's gonna know, like, oh my gosh, she cares about me. And it's the things that we do in a follow-up plan. And I heard this quote, I think from Elizabeth Hume today as well. The things that you do today might not be about today.
That's right. They're never about today.
Right. So the interactions that you're doing today, they might not say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called. I want to list my house. I mean, that could happen, but it's the consistency of being present. And, you know, if you've attended any of my social media classes, when we create a social media posting plan, we talk about, like, we want to talk about real estate. We want to talk about other stuff too, because we don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, all she ever talks about is like, am I going to list my house? So you want to mix it up, but it's being front of mind. So they say it takes 7 times for someone to hear that you do a particular thing before they remember. So what 7 ways are you going to stay in front of these people? And which of them can you automate? Which of them can happen without you having to remember to do all the things? So the next step is you look at your category A people and you're like, oh my gosh, these people love me. They're referring me business. So what the questions you need to ask are, how often do you want to be in touch with these people? Do you want to be in touch with them monthly, more than monthly, less than monthly? And so on the back, this is the things that got a little skittywampus, but how often do you want to be in touch with these people? So your A+ people, what kind of frequency do you want there?
Well, that's useful.
So A people, or A+ people, A people, B people, and C people on the last page. And then you want to look at your ideas list and say, okay, what ways are going to be effective? So your C people, you might just put them on a monthly newsletter and call it good, right? Or your strategy might change down the road, and you might say, you know what? I'd like to see if I can move some of these B or C people to A people. And maybe you're going to do some more focused attention on your C group, right? If you're like, oh, my A people, I've got them. They are locked in. Like, you've got things, you know, in place, that you're staying in touch, you're interacting with them, you're, you know, thanking them when they send you a referral, things like that. And then you're like, hey, let's work on these C's. And these are the ones that you're like, whew, haven't talked to them in a long time. What could I do? Yeah, if they were local, you could say, hey, it's been forever, let's catch up, let's go to coffee. You know, are you free next week? And sometimes making that initial contact again can feel a little like, this is out of the blue. My advice to you would be to be genuine. If you call and you say, oh, hey bud, I haven't talked to you in 10 years, hope your family's doing good. So anyway, I'm in real estate now. If you're looking to buy a house, call me. That's not going to have the same reception as, hey, it's been a while, you crossed my mind, what's going on with your family, how you guys doing? And you let them talk and you hear them out, and they're like, yeah, well, you know, what are you up to? Oh yeah, we're doing good. You know, this and this is happening. I don't know if you heard, we went to Boise, it's been great. I'm selling real estate up here, life's just awesome. Wow, it's really great. So you might not make an ask in that initial contact, right? You have to be genuine with your people. People see through that lack of authenticity really easily. And so make it real. Again, what you're doing today, it's not about today. It's about 2 months, 2 years from now, when you're continuing to stay in touch. Maybe that friend, you're like, yeah, great to talk to you. Yeah, let me know if you guys ever need me. It'd be great to, you know, get the kids together, or whatever your situation is. And then maybe you aren't friends on Facebook, so you add them on Facebook. And then now you're commenting on their stuff, and your things are showing up for them, and then you text, once in a while and say, hey, you just sending out market stats to, thought I'd give everyone a market update. Here's what's happening in Boise, the real estate market, right? And you're providing value and you're serving and you're helping. Any thoughts or questions at this point? Okay, so the next step is, and I'll give you guys a little time to work on this, is start writing down your A+ people. How often do you want to be in contact with them? And then what are some ways that you would feel comfortable, that resonates with you, to do that? Some people are really social media heavy. Some people would prefer to meet in person or to call. And there's no right or wrong way. The most important piece is having a plan and being consistent with it. The reason why you hear so many marketing ideas in real estate is because they all work. You just have to choose and be consistent in order to see long-term results.
Well, and it's best if you choose something that fits you as a person, so that it's going to be easy for you to do. Yes?
Yes, 100%. Like, if you're not someone who likes to make cold calls, probably don't pay for online leads.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't join a team that wants you to make, 60 cold calls a day. Like, if that's not going to work for you, and that's okay if it doesn't, because there's lots of other ways to be successful. You just have to, choose.
Sometimes figure it out, because if you haven't tried it, you don't know if you like it or not.
Right. Right.
Bless you. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you recommend asking if you can put them on your database?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
The feeling I have is, I'm not just going to automatically throw people on a list.
It's your call, right? So if they're on an automatic, like an email list, like in MailChimp, they have the option to unsubscribe at the bottom if it's not what works for them. And you can see,
That's true.
you can see who's unsubscribed. I wouldn't always recommend looking at that. It makes you a little fiery inside, at least in my experience. Because I'm like, no, this is good. Hey, I had given advice to an agent yesterday. Let me tell you exactly what I had said to him. So he was asking any good ways to approach people in my network of friends who I haven't talked with for a long time and let them know I'm in real estate. And so I just said, you can send out an obvious, like, mass text and say, hey friends, I know it's been a while since we've talked. Hope you and your family are doing well. I wanted to share some news that I have jumped into the world of real estate. Let me know if you ever have any questions about the market. I'd love to be a resource for you. And so he wrote back and he's like, do you mind if I could just use that verbiage? Of course, yeah. And for what it's worth, you. So that's one way.
It was gentle.
Yeah, like, and that's who I am as a person. I'm not a hard-ass person, so that's what would work for me. Like, hey guys, I'm selling real estate now, and I'm here to help you. Like, do you want to know what your home's worth? Are you curious about the market? It's a crazy time. Call me. I'm available. Let's go to lunch. Let's have coffee. Whatever it might be. So, and that is less, in some ways it's less threatening because it's an obvious. I wouldn't send it in a group chat.
No.
Because then everyone's going to reply back and then everyone's going to get annoyed. But you could use that same message and send it individually to all those people. You could also say, I send out a monthly update of market stats. Let me, send me your email address if you'd like to be on the list. So, yeah. So once you've decided, how often do you want to be in touch with these people? So say you're A+ people, you're like, twice a month, okay? You want to have an intentional contact twice a month. And then your ways are going to be text, something on social media. I mean, if you only have twice a month, you can plan it out for as long as you want, and maybe you're like card on their birthday. You know, you can find most people's birthdays on Facebook if they're on Facebook. And then you just put it in order. Like, what do I want to have happen? So, you know, this week I'm going to text. 2 weeks from now, I'm going to engage with them on social media. 2 weeks later, I'm going to call. And 2 weeks later, I'm going to engage on social media. Like, and then you just plan out what you want that to look like for a certain period of time. And then your plan is made. You know what to do. The next step, and the part we're not going to cover in this particular workshop, is automating your plan. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of programs, and finding the right one, it has to be really specific to what your goal is. So it's hard to make a blanket recommendation because one might have all these fancy features, and you're like, yeah, but I don't need any of those fancy features. I need these features. Okay, where are we going to find that? And
But this can be done on Bootcamp.
I honestly, like, a lot of it can, and I know they have emails, like you can do email drip campaigns. I mean, everyone on your list should get the newsletter. Like, that's a no-brainer. And that's something that's just going to be, in some ways, I mean, it's easy for you to do it once a month, and you're going to get an email from Liz that says, hey,
It's
your
ready.
newsletter's ready. So you can be like, oh, okay, by the end of the day, I need to, you know, send that out. You can also access Silver Creek Social, and Race and Liz will send it out for you. You don't even have to think about it. It'll just happen. So, but yeah, creating the plan. I mean, and even initially, if this is something that maybe you have 10 people on your list that you're like, I want to engage with these people more regularly, and you make a spreadsheet, right? And you look at your spreadsheet every day. Okay, who do I need to follow up with? I mean, you can create a pretty complex spreadsheet. I think ultimately that's why CRM programs are made, so you don't have to do that. But if it's overwhelming, right, it's somewhere to start. Or you say, every Wednesday, I open my list and I contact people, right? Like, okay, you know, last time I talked to Mary, I sent her a text. Oh, I'm going to shoot her an email with a link to this tutorial, blah, 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 that I know she loves to do this hobby. Or, you know, so you find some way to connect. And you can just maybe set aside a day a week, or, you know, a lot of agents, and Eric Lay and his lead generation bootcamp, which, by the way, that's starting in March. Highly, 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 highly recommend. Yeah, it's so good. But he's going to have you choose a certain time period every single day to lead gen. Every day. He's going to make you commit to it, whether that's 9 to 11 or 9 to noon or 10 to 10:30 or whatever it looks like for you. It's the habit. And so from 10 until 10:30, you're writing 3 notes to people and sticking them in the mail, and you're texted 5 people, and you're calling 2, or, you know, whatever your plan's going to look like. But this gives you something to work from, right? What are ways I can be in touch?
I just wrote down things to do before lead gen.
Yeah, it's going to make things that time a lot more productive for you if you, like, at least put together your database list before bootcamp starts.
Which I
Yeah.
haven't done completely.
And you guys were so lucky because he opened up his bootcamp program to Silver Creek agents for no cost. After this next one, he's going to be charging everybody. So it's a great opportunity. So, yeah. Questions? Anything you want to dive into a little bit more?
Will there be another workshop on creating the automation and how to do that, or no?
It's just too individual.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know Liz does a class on Boomtown. It's just so individual to the person.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but if you ever want to have conversations about what's going to work best, a program that I use simply for staying in touch with people, and I personally haven't used Boomtown or KV Core, so this might already be, you know, built in. But I've used a program for a long time that you can make defaulted emails. They're not pretty, they're just basic emails, but You can create a task for yourself, so a task that can pop up that says text this person. You can have it send an email automatically. You can have it have the email ready to send, but they're like, hey, do you want me to send this? And you have to approve it. There's all sorts of things that you can set up, and it's called Honeybook, and we use it. Kelsey and I use it here, and I used it in my event company for a long time. And it's very simple, and it's really affordable. It's $400 a year. If you decide you want to use it, let me know because I can give you a discount code.
Okay.
But that is, it's simple, and I really like it, but it's not, it doesn't have the completeness of, ooh, you have the property search website, and you have, you know, that side, that really real estate specific side of things. So
How
you just
would
have
that
to-
differ? How would that differ than chip mail?
So in MailChimp, you can create emails and you can schedule them. They don't have any automation, and they're not gonna. So like
And there are no task follow up.
exactly,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
And like in Honeybook, I can say, I want this email to send 2 weeks after I send this text. So when I mark that task complete, then it's gonna automatically prompt that email to go out 2 weeks later.
Okay.
So it runs through the funnel, just
Okay.
on its own.
Okay.
But before that, right, you have to have your plan. You have to say, when someone refers me, I am going to call them and say thank you to them. And then I'm going to drop a card in the mail with a Dutch Bros gift card. And then, 3 weeks later, I'm going to give them an update or, whatever you want your plan to be. You really have to think through that. Call it a plan, call it a funnel. You'll hear people talk about funnels, and that's also what that is. Like, we want to drive them through the process. With a funnel, you ultimately want to convert them to a client. So by the end of a funnel, you're like, okay, and now we're doing business. But with some of these people, that might not be the case. It might just be an ongoing follow-up plan, right? I'm staying in touch. And sometimes how I'll set up my follow-up plan is like an intentional contact first, then a social media interaction, then a contact, then a social, then a contact, then a social. Because I'm on social anyway, it's really cool. Do you want to see something fancy?
Of course.
I like this a lot. So when you go to Facebook, this is just a little Facebook hack, and we talk about it in my Facebook class, but if you go on the sidebar here, you might have to hit see more, but you can click on friends lists, and you can have a list. You can categorize your friends based on list. So yesterday, I'm LDS, which unrelated to anything here, but I had a church thing that I wanted to post. And so I just posted it only for my LDS friends to see.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because I'm like if I can be more intentional with what I'm sharing, like my Catholic or Jewish friends might not want this very LDS specific artwork.
Yeah.
Maybe they do. I don't know. But it's true, like maybe there's family things that you're like, yeah, I might not want this to go out to all of my industry contacts and everybody. It's a special announcement. Then you can post it. So what you do is you can come here and I can say,
So you did that one that you categorized, so you go
Yeah.
to each friend on your thing.
you guys, it took me like 4 hours.
Oh,
It was
I'm sure.
intense.
Because you
But
do have to
pull up
categorize
the
each
friend
friend.
by friend, and then you,
So I have Silver Creek agents. These are my friends who are Silver Creek agents. You can also come in and so the reason why from a follow-up plan standpoint this is helpful is because if I was feeling like I need to do some touch-ins with our current agents, which is something that is important to me, I can come to my friends list here and I can just comment and like these posts. Like I'm doing touch-ins with my agents right now, and I'm just talking to whoever I'm friends with at Silver Creek right here. This is only agents. So once you've
That's
categorized,
brilliant.
isn't it awesome?
It is.
So you
So,
open up the friend and then you go get some.
okay, no, so you,
How do you categorize them?
okay, let me show you. Okay, so step 1, open up your Facebook. This is from the desktop view.
Okay.
I don't know that I've done it from my phone because I did it on my computer, but on your left-hand bar, you'll see friend lists. If you don't see it, click on see more and it'll probably be down there. Okay. Click on friends list. You can create a list.
Okay.
You can see all of your friends. So if you want to create a new list, you can. Okay, Silver Creek agents. So if I'm like, ooh, I need to, make sure everyone's on here. So here's all of their updates, but I can go to manage list up in the top right corner. I can edit the list. And I'm editing who's on the list. It's showing me who's on the list.
But none of your people were on the list. How did you put them on the list?
Yep, that's what I'm going to show you right now.
Okay. All right,
So on this list, I'm just going to click friends. So these are all my friends.
So that's everybody.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I see. And
So
then
then
you
you can
checked those people.
Check the people you want
Yep.
on that one.
So yep, I sure did go through line by line and click.
And you did that again for
For
the
every
exact same
list.
people for the next category.
It was not fun.
But
Time
it
consuming.
was well worth it.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrea, we just became friends yesterday. Angela, and I'm sure I missed people because it was making my brain hurt. But yeah, you can just go through and see who's on there. Then you hit finish. So now they're going to be on my list.
Now they're going to add to your list.
Once your lists are created, the other way you can do this is, let's go to the home page, click on friends, and then, where are you? Friends. I don't have any friends on Facebook, it appears.
Yes, you want to be a friend.
I do. Friends. Okay, here they are. So recently
My fiber didn't
added.
take nearly that long.
So I had added a few agents this week, and so I can, let's see. Okay, so I can click on friends, and then I can say edit friend list.
And put them there too.
And Silver Creek agents.
Oh,
and
and
real
just check
estate
it right
industry.
there. Okay.
So also, like, I have friends at other brokerages, and so I might post
Right.
something real, like Silver Creek specific,
Yeah.
that maybe I don't want other realtors to see.
Mhm.
Or I might post something that is like industry wide, and I'm like, oh, this is so important from NAR, and so I'll post it just to everyone in the real estate industry. Or maybe I want to get a few more realtors over here, and I want to post like a little recruiting thing, right? And then I'll just share it only with realtors and other brokerages. Because guess what? My grandma don't want to see that.
That's right.
She doesn't care.
That's right.
So anyway, you can click on those, and then, yep, there you go. So Jenny, yep, it would be the same. Edit friends list, real estate industry, Silver Creek agents. There you go. So you can go friend by friend and do it that way if you want, or you can go list by list. Either way, it's
Thank you.
actually, I don't know. I think they're both terrible. You're gonna hate it either way.
Right. Yeah.
Depends on how many people you have in your friend's pocket.
That's fair. Yeah.
But-
So.
When the family has football on and you need to sit there.
Mhm.
I'm editing
Yeah.
friends lists.
Totally. Yeah. So, and then if you've added friends recently and you're like, you don't want to go through the list to add people because then you have to go through your whole list again, click on your friends and then recently added. These are people I recently became friends
So you
with.
could do that.
And these
So
are literally all the same.
Birthdays are a
So
category
you
up
can
there?
do
I
it.
didn't know that.
Guess so. In 3
Oh, yeah, I
days,
knew
in 2
they'd
days,
come
2
up.
days, 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know they came up like that.
I've never looked at it this way either. I usually go to birthdays today. Yeah,
There you go.
birthdays. See y'all. So,
Nice.
and that's an easy way. I'm not perfect at it, but I have a reminder on my calendar every day to remind you to check birthdays in Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember, and
Right.
sometimes I'm like, I don't want to. Because I'm grumpy or I'm busy, but I don't want to forget really. And so then I can come here. My advice to you is this. If you come here and you see someone's birthday, if you have their phone number, you text them instead. We all know how it is when it's our birthday and you get 87,000 happy birthday wishes.
Yeah.
It's not a personal connection when it's on Facebook for their birthday. So if you text them, they're like, oh my gosh, thanks for remembering my birthday.
Yeah, I
Even
always do
though-
it in a private message,
Or
but that's
that.
even better.
Yeah. That's my tip. Little Facebook tips.
Some people I don't have their number though. So.
Yeah, yep, that's fair. Yeah. Okay, helpful?
Very.
Good.
And this for me was like, okay, it's not that daunting. It was that little push that I needed to go.
Yeah.
Do it, Laura.
Yep, you just
Because
started.
it's been one of those procrastination things for me. So you made it seem less threatening. Thank
Good.
you.
Good. Step by step, one
Yep.
step at a time.
Yep.
Don't worry about your automation. Nope, just focused on your list. Yeah. So, thanks for coming.
Thank you. It's
Yes.
finally warm in here.
I
It's
know.
I'm about to peel off layers.
I know. I don't think there's actually like a happy medium. I think it's freezing or hot in this room. Great. Well, I hope you guys have a great weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks everyone who tuned in.